Now, I want to just talk briefly about what the Rosary does for you if you say it regularly. It's a discipline. It is. It's a religious, spiritual discipline, and it's very important. Lack of discipline is very bad. You have to have discipline. You have to rule your body and your spirit and your mind. The mind is probably the most difficult one to really control. But you have to try. Because if we let our minds run riot, forget it. We're just going to be slaves, and our lives are going to be miserable. So the Rosary, the first thing for me, it's helped me to discipline my mind. Now I'm going to read from this book, Our Lady's Rosary, 1939. The author says, it helps us to know God, right? That's the first thing it does. A person who takes no interest in his own business or who is ignorant about elementary or very important matters is considered a failure. And yet, in their religion, which is everybody's most important business, thousands are positively illiterate. The Church imparts the sublime message of God through the catechism and recalls it to mind through the sermons and the liturgy. But the catechism is put aside after childhood days, and many can attend sermons or services only once a week. The result is that the eternal truths are often lost sight of amidst the rush and turmoil of life. This is a great loss, because the companionship of elevating thoughts is a positive relief from the nervous tension of the modern world. Here the Rosary comes to our assistance, with its invitation to come aside and rest a while, if but for a few moments. It trains the mind to concentrate, which is what I said, and I feel it's done it for me, which in itself is an advantage in times like these, when thinking has become almost a lost art. That's an understatement. But what is more important, it centers the mind on thoughts most elevated and useful. For the Rosary is in epitome all Christian doctrine, the gospel story, the liturgy of the year. The great feasts pass quickly, but in the Rosary, the joys of Christmas, the sorrows of Holy Week, the glories of Easter are always with us. And he who uses the beads will not forget the sacred mysteries of faith once given him. And that's true. We can keep going over the life of Christ every day, and it stays with us. So it brings us closer to God, help us to know God. The second thing he says is it helps us to love God. Love is the explanation of all actions. Each one acts in the way or that because of the love he has for some person or thing. It is then all important that the object of our love should be good and that our chief love be given to God himself. Otherwise, life will be thrown away on things unworthy or harmful, when it could have been elevated and enriched by love of what is best. In the Rosary, we are constantly in the companionship of Jesus and Mary, the noblest and most beautiful of all our race, and the nearest to God, since such companionship will at length lead even the erring and sinners to turn to God in love of the best. And it does promote love of God, I can attest to that. Love for Jesus and love for his dear mother and St. Joseph and all the saints, which are our family. What else? It helps us to serve God. Advice is powerful. But example is more potent still, either for good or for evil. The lives and doings of others, whether seen or read or heard about, influence our own ideas and conduct. The Rosary is a most suitable means, therefore, to offset the powerful allurements of evil. It pictures for us as models and heroes, not the weak or vicious, but the two supreme examples of freedom from wrong and devotion to right. Every age and condition of life may find light and guidance in the 15 mysteries. Children and grown-ups, men and women, the educated and the ignorant, the joyful and the sorrowful. The mysteries show in actual practice the way to act towards God and our neighbor, at home and in the outside world, in life and in death. Those who follow the guidance of the Rosary will speak of victories and will rejoice with heavenly delights. So it helps us to serve God in the world. It keeps us grounded, really, to use a catchphrase. Now, the fourth thing is it helps us to be happy with God hereafter, meaning after death. The glories of heaven are forever beyond our reach if we rely on our own efforts. But the Rosary shows us heaven opened and invites us to enter. What is more, it provides the help for persevering prayer wins not only help here below, but also heaven itself, especially when the prayer is the Rosary, whose very words and thoughts are from God. And I would say the Rosary has heightened my intuition, meaning it's focused my mind, kept the clutter crap out, right? The annoying thoughts that bother us daily, and it helps me focus my mind. And what it's done is it helps me somehow, only God knows, to really get strong feelings, I believe, from God about what's true and what's false. You know, you can watch television, you can listen to the government speak, a politician, anyone, and they can be lying right to your face. But I can tell you this, the Rosary has helped me see the truth from the falsity. And there are certain events that have taken place in our world that a lot of people were fooled. A lot. And I believe the Rosary could have helped. And I believe there's going to be more deceptions, more demonic deceptions. And if you say the Rosary every day, you're not going to be fooled. Because God will show you. She will show you. She'll guide you and say, ooh, don't do this, do that. So I believe that this is, for me, this is not from the book, this is my own opinion. But for me, it's helped to heighten my intuition. Where you get these direct, like a gnosis, a direct knowing from the God, about what you should do. Divine guidance. It's so important. We have to really live supernaturally in many ways today, because we have AI now, and so many things are going to be fake. They can make up anything. You can have a video and it's completely fictitious. You got to be careful. And how will you know if it's not? Not knowing can hurt you and your family. So I think the Rosary will help you to see the truth from the falsity. A lot of people fall for things because they don't pray enough. They don't pray to God. They don't have that connection. And then that's it. The world takes advantage of them. So the Rosary does that. Now, it's good to say the Rosary as a family. If you have little kids or husband and wife saying it together, that's great. And that can really help the family stay together, they pray together, and it kind of bonds the family closer together. Now, in regards to society, I believe it helps dispel the demonic. This book says, in the centuries past, recourse to the Rosary has been rewarded by remarkable answers from heaven at moments of great public peril. It is a matter of history that for this very reason, the Queen of the Rosary has been saluted as the Holy Mary of Victory. Today, the world seems to need the help of Mary as much as ever before, and Pope Pius XI has urged all to seek that help through the Rosary. The lessons of the Rosary are also of public benefit. They teach not only what is owed to God, but what is owed to our neighbor. The joyful mysteries present examples of charity and justice. The sorrowful mysteries show the evils of hatred and of injustice. It is the lack of charity and of justice that accounts for so much of the trouble of today. Again, the world is unhappy because it seeks its chief happiness in things of this world which can never give complete happiness, namely in material and transitory possessions and pleasures, while forgetting the true happiness of the other world. In the joyful mysteries of the Rosary, the humble contentment of Jesus and Mary teaches us that wealth is not happiness. In the sorrowful mysteries, the triumphant endurance of Jesus and Mary is a proof that happiness is not akin to ease and luxury. In the glorious mysteries, the character of lasting happiness is manifested and its attainment promised. If mankind thought the thoughts of justice and charity, which the Rosary teaches, it would have peace. If it pursued principally the kind of happiness the Rosary proposes, it would have greater prosperity, even in temporal things. Pope Pius IX was accustomed to say, quote, if you wish for peace in your hearts, in your families, and in your country, assemble every evening and recite the Rosary, end quote. Well, this world is headed towards war. The Europeans are preparing for war. This is just a fact. So I think they need the rosary. The whole world does. Too many people have fallen from God, and they put their faith in material things, and those things are going to evaporate. You know, I knew a woman once. We had a bad hurricane here, and she was in a place where she was going to get flooded. And she said the rosary. She asked Jesus, Mary, Joseph to help her. She said the rosary, and she told me the water stopped right at her door. And her house didn't get flooded. I laugh because it's so great when God does stuff like that. I think it's fantastic. He proves the truth, you know, right there. You know, I know for myself the rosary's been a great comfort. And as I said, if I don't say it, I get anxiety. So I have to say it. It's like I'm compelled, right? So many people are on medicine for anxiety. You know, they smoke marijuana for anxiety, so they say. They do a lot of things to relieve anxiety. How about picking up the rosary? I think that's the cure for anxiety, because you're connecting to God. And, you know, without Him, you're going to have a lot of anxiety, because there's no peace in this world without Him. It's impossible. It's impossible. And staying drugged up and numb is not going to do it. Walking around like you're a zombie is just not going to do it. Because when the zombieism wears off, guess what? It's back to real life again, right? Wherever you go, there you are. You can get in a plane. You know, immigrants come to America. They have a rotten life in their country, and they come here, and then they're unhappy. Well, because it's you, buddy. You're bringing your rotten brain from wherever you came from to here. So you got to change your brain, change your mind, change your heart and your spirit, and your life will get better no matter where you are, no matter where you are in the world. I say transform where you are instead of running. Transform it, and you can transform it with the rosary. You keep saying the rosary, you get a group of people together and get a meeting together every week or twice a week, whatever you can pull. Watch what happens to your area as you bring that light into your area. You'll see transformations. Guaranteed. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that talk. Have a great day.